Welcome in to the B&B. Liana's not here, so you just get me. I'm here to talk about the big tribe swap like Christian's trousers. The bups went plop. On New Zealand, welcome parties Sari, and poor Charlie's having 46 PTSD. Paolo's got a bromance coded in honor. Benevie's making sure Aubrey is a goner. Batu's the focus with the boot that hurts. A man who went out in his own Q skirt. Now, let me intro my guests. It's not that hard. Welcome Maggie Morgan and Lauren Girard.
You're trash at rapping. Stop rapping. You're trash.
No, my heart is pounding so fast.
You're feeling like
I don't
for me.
I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. And I also really apologize to everyone who had to listen to us snapping at what I'm sure were two entirely different
I love it. It's like a community theater production of West Side Story. It was amazing.
Honestly, the second we started, I was like, oh, yep, here is Mike and I's rival improv energy that we've always had.
Here we go. So welcome on in. Sorry to throw you both into the deep end, but is this not commiserate for Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans as we get an impromptu swap thrown our way? Mixes things up in so many different ways, and of course culminating in the boot of one of the most electric characters of the past couple of years. But I guess the question I have for both of you is, how electric has this season been so far for you? I mean, Laura, you are a devout Survivor fan through and through. So talk to me about, what were your expectations going into this season, and how do they compare to the reality of the first few episodes?
I mean, I've been loving it. I keep saying, like, these are the only, 6 hours at this point of, like, complete full body joy I've experienced in the year 2026. Like, it's just thrilling. And I'm sort of a late to the game Survivor fan. I started watching in 2021. So the past 6 months, I've really been doing my homework, and I went back and made sure, there's tons of seasons I've seen, but a few seasons I've not. And I made sure that I watched every relevant season. And just to have that amount of prerequisite prep work play off so deliciously, like, every single moment is just so rich. I really I think the fan votes are kind of horseshit. I don't know about that. It's certainly not what I voted for. Not my vote, but other than that, it's delicious. I'm loving it. It's better than I ever could have imagined.
I could not be more thrilled. I kind of famously don't love Survivor as much as I love the other shows. Out of the big three, it's definitely the bottom for me. It's Big Brother, Amazing Race, Survivor. But this does not count in that. This is so I know some people didn't like this episode as much as the other two, but I was riveted. From the moment it started, my heart was racing so much because I love everyone on this season so much. I have 12 faves at this point that I do not want to see go. So every single competition, which in my rewatches that I did of the older seasons, I would fast forward through competitions. I'm riveted by the competitions. I'm stressed out. My heart is beating so fast. I just recently got on Lexapro, but I feel like I did before I got on Lexapro, and I'm so stressed out. My stomach hurts. I'm oh my God. I am thrilled beyond belief. I actually cannot state how much I'm loving this season. And like you said, Laura, it's so rich. It really does feel like a continuation. I've been doing some TikToks for the RHAP account. So if you haven't been checking those out, set an alarm for Survivor night, and you'll see my face on there.
I set an alarm, 6 o'clock, go on to RHAP TikTok. Is that what the alarm?
No, you can turn on the notification. Sorry.
Really? Okay.
This is how bad I am at being a social media person, that I'm an alarm. No, notifications about posts. But I said on my TikTok, it really feels like a continuation of these people's stories rather than a rehashing. And it feels like these are our friends who we've known for years. Even, we can get into it more when we go through the episode, but the Charlie moment was so fascinating to me. It was, I was this is so amazing. All of the Coach Ozzy stuff, the Coach moment with Chrissy, where Coach got to be the one basically who said, don't put feathers in your hair. They laugh at you. that to me, I was like, the layers that you have to understand how amazing this moment is. It feels like the payoff that, you know, somebody who's been watching this season or this show for 20 years, or even if you're a new fan and you've been like Laura and you've invested all of this time in it, like you're getting this payoff. Like the hands of the fans vote, I totally agree, Laura, are bullshit, but like it is for the fans. I really feel.
I feel like the editors have the benefit of zero exposition. Like,
yes.
As someone who has experienced the old era and the new era at the same time for the first time, it feels like the biggest shift is that now they are telling us stuff that they used to show us. And I feel like they have the benefit of not having to tell us it's hard, not having to tell us there's conflict, not having to tell us someone's experiencing character development. We just get to see it. And especially because you have people who are now used to being on TV and helping craft the story. Like it's just, there are so many layers, like an ogre or an onion.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, first off, there's so many things to dig into with this. First off, Maggie, I'm glad this secondhandedly proves the stigma of, you know, antidepressants dull your personality incorrect, because listen, there's still things that can make you feel excited. You can take Lexapro and Survivor will still get your heart rate up, folks. Check with your doctor today.
I actually think that every single person who loves me in my life would say that the antidepressants have made me more myself. So there you go. My personality has popped through more. So,
but yeah. I think you bring up some really great points, Laura, about how we are dedicating so much time to these people interacting with each other that we don't need to necessarily need to know who they are as people. It is interesting because it does counter a bit to what Jeff has been sort of espousing throughout the preseason of 50, which is like, if you're a new Survivor fan, you'll love this. If you're an old Survivor fan, you'll love this. If you're not a Survivor fan, why don't you start watching with this season? And it's like, kind of feels like if you started watching the MCU with Avengers Endgame, you know, like it might be an enjoyable film, but you're not going to understand any of the context whatsoever. You might like some of the visuals, and I Love You 3000 is a fun line, but you have no idea who these people are or what it means. Because yeah, I do think a lot is banking on not only a lot of knowledge of these players, but what players are bringing into the game as well. It's not completely on the Winners at War level where it felt like everyone came in not only to win for a second time, but also like with sort of a secondary goal in mind. I talk about this all the time. For Ben Driebergen, it was, I want friends. For Michelle, it was, I want to prove that my win wasn't just a fluke. Here, I think that people sort of have that goal in a bunch of different ways, and they are sort of discovering whether or not those goals can be accomplished or not. There's a really interesting moment when Chrissy is having a beachside breakdown after the aforementioned talk with Coach, and she's sitting there with Genevieve and Aubrey, and I think it's just such an interesting snapshot, because I would say definitely with Aubrey and almost to a certain extent with Genevieve, all three of them have kind of experienced the feeling that Chrissy is having, right? This internal idea that you feel like someone does not like you no matter what you do, and there's nothing you can do to stop it, and it's going to, in the end, maybe cost you $1 million one way or the other. And it's just really cool that you have this connective tissue that can exist across those shared experiences. Or you even have, like, on paper, you think that'd be the case for Charlie and Rizzo. No, Charlie cannot stand this man, not even because of him, but what he represents. And that's why I think, to go back to your first point, Maggie, I still think episode 1 is my favorite of the 3, but 3 is definitely close behind, because all I want out of the season, all I want out of any returning player season, out of any reality show, is just putting the action figures in the diorama and letting them play together. I just want to see as many people interacting with each other as possible. And that's what made me happy for the swap, is because I do feel like, even though it's only like 5 days in, dynamics were figured out on basically all 3 tribes. And so not only shaking those up, but allowing people to interact with each other when they haven't had the chance to before led to some incredibly fruitful results.
Completely agree with that. Like, I loved the swap. I loved all of that. Like, and I do feel, Laura, you bringing up watching the old era and the new era at the same time, like, you're right. They don't let them just talk to each other. It's like they'll say 4 words and then somebody will be in a talking head and be like, and then when Laura said this to me, it made me think, blah, 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 rather than just watching them interact and watching their body language, watching, like very clearly see, like we could see in the Aubrey Genevieve conversation that was horrible. We were like, this is a horrible conversation, So we know now in episode 3, when Genevieve's like, yeah, I don't like her. We got to get rid of her. It was weird. And Aubrey's like, I knew she was after me. Like, we saw that and we had our own feelings and we're like, okay, now we can see why this has happened, versus them telling us and us taking their word for it, I guess, and being like, okay, and being force fed kind of. But I also think like that's what happens when you put 24 of the biggest personalities that have been on Survivor.
True.
And I also think that it kind of shows, and I'm not going to name names here because I don't want to sound like I'm being, negative towards anybody. But I think that it goes to show that like some of the people who have even gotten a ton of screen time, but like I have felt like when they start talking, I look at my phone, like where
second screen people, personalities, we call them. You're like, oh, time to start scrolling but my alarm for TikTok's going off. I got to check this out.
But people who, perhaps like on their seasons, they were a huge character, but now we're seeing like up against some of these other people, like, oh, maybe it's, and of course, all of that comes down to editing as well. Like Angelina has been grossly under edited and we finally got more from her this episode and it was thrilling. Like every single thing that she was saying is so Angelina and so perfect. But I think that it just goes to show like when you have great people out there, you can just let them go.
And I personally, like, everyone's been like, oh, where's Angelina? Where's Tiffany? Where's all these people? And I would rather spend an episode going 20 minutes deep on one conflict and learning about that versus checking in with every single character, every single episode. And obviously 3 episodes in, we have a small pool to pull from. We hope that we get enough of everybody. But trusting that some of these people who, like Chrissy, hasn't popped up much, but maybe this is the beginning of a bigger arc. Like Genevieve in her first season, she was nowhere and then she was everything, right? Like, I don't need to take the time to check in with all 20 people who are left on the beach if we know that in a few episodes, we're going to get a half hour of somebody blowing up their tribe and their conflict in all these relationships that we haven't been caught up on. So it's frustrating not to see people now. But I feel like, again, they have the benefit of not having to introduce us to everybody. Yeah. They can catch us up later because we already know who these people are.
I mean, it's very comparable to Australian Survivor, where they're much more of a Stars and Scrubs editing system, but it is very much edited like, what is the action this week and who is involved in it? And so it's a little bit more feast or famine. Now, not to say... And maybe it's also not helped by the fact that, only a handful of people have gone to Tribal Council. Christian has been like arguably the narrator of the season because of how much he's involved with basically every aspect and every ending of every episode. So I think it also comes and goes with like who's winning and who's not. But I want to go back to you, Laura. Who are some standouts for you? Either ones you came in with, a certain affinity towards, or those who have won you over the course of these 3 episodes?
I mean, Christian is the most likable person who's ever been on TV ever. It's just hard not to root for him if he's on screen. Like, I want to hear what he thinks about everything. I mean, I went in really pulling for Suri. I've been saying just give it to Suri. If you can get out of the game without a single vote against you, then surely you can just get Boomerang idled to the end. Like, can't they have some sort of pop star centric, like Suri gets picked up, gets to go to Ponderosa for like 2 weeks and then come back at like Final Four or something? Like, I'm all for that. I would love to see that happen personally. I've really been pulling for Genevieve more than I thought. I think because it feels like she's been dealt such a bad hand in these first few episodes. But it's hard not to just like love everybody. Like, I think as a TV character, Coach is just everything to me. Like, I have watched every Coach season now. Like, I don't understand. Like, I have met this man in real life, not Coach himself, but like this character type. And I'm allergic to it. And just watching him on TV, watching people interact with him, watching the way he's somehow claiming to be the same old coach he's always been, but he's also coach 4.0, and he's sneaky because he's here to play a different game, but he's also honor, integrity, and you know that. And the way he's like pulling people into this like hero's journey for himself, like him saying Joe is not the reason Coach is on this season. Coach is on this season for being coach for a decade. But he's so intensely watchable. I really I need Coach to be there as long as possible because I just want to watch Coach for as long as possible.
I mean, we need to see him interact with Zach Brown next week. I don't know if their tribe wins the challenge, but like Coach being like, yeah, man, what's that? Is that like an 86 Gibson? I remember those years. Like, just he would be the one, I think, with this. And listen, you could take or leave the celebrity factor, but I think he would be the person to like actually think he's on the same level as those celebrities. And be like, well,
to me, he is. To me, he is. Coach is perfect. He's perfect. He is a perfect person on my television. I cannot describe to you how in love with Coach I am. Like, I agree with you, Laura. I want him on every season of every show ever. I hope this means he'll go on The Traitors, on House of Villains. Like, I am
Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Stop. No, he's
Maggie,
53. He's 53 and full of holes. You can't put that man in such physical harm.
They always have someone who's 53 and full of holes on Dancing with the Stars. That's like the whole thing. They just stand there and one of the girls twirls around them.
That's true. There's an archetype of a holy 53-year-old.
Exactly. Exactly. I really want Coach to win whatever reward Mr. Beast is there to present. And then that will somehow be Mr. Beast and Coach like alone on a yacht for a day. And so instead of a reward for Coach, it will turn into a punishment for Mr. Beast, which I feel that is a sliver of what he deserves in his lifetime. That's really what I'm pulling for.
Yeah, I can't describe how important Coach is to me. Like, I literally feel like it's the person being like, he is the mother that I never had, the sister that I didn't know I needed. Like, I think that Coach is my favorite reality television personality ever.
What?
And I know. He could not.
Maggie loves the
more
characters.
perfect.
That's true. You do love him. He is getting into that age that you love in terms of archetype and age range of reality TV contestants.
But I also think what I want out of my reality television contestants is for me to look at this person and be like, how is this a real person? How does this person exist? Where did you find them? And thank God they are on my screen. And Coach is Coach, okay? Like, I know he probably milks it up for the camera, but like Coach is on Cameo serenading love songs on his trumpet for Valentine's Day gifts. Okay. Like, you can get a Coach cameo of him doing that.
Would you want, I feel like if I were to rank all of the instruments I would want to hear in a Valentine's Day serenade, trumpet would be at least in like the bottom 5. I
would know someone was the love of my life if they unprompted found and sent me a Coach Valentine's like serenade on the trumpet, because that
but like what's he gonna play like Ed Sheeran like like it's just not a very sultry type of tone, with no offense to Coach,
but it's Coach. It's so Coach. It's so Coach. It's perfect.
I also need everyone to understand, as one of the people who knows Maggie best in this world, she would last 15 seconds in a room with Coach. The people she loves to watch it, like, you would leave, you would shut down and walk away.
Oh, like, I'm sure. Like, yeah, if Coach ever came up to you and did what he did with Chrissy, of like, just break it down, like, like,
yeah,
I would. Chrissy is better than me because I would deck him. Like, if Coach comes up to me and tells me I have to calm down, one of us is getting medevaced. Like, that's. I loved it in the moment. He also said almost nothing and then was like, I did a great job with that.
The way he broached the conversation was so incredibly Coach of like, I've got to give her some sage wisdom. He doesn't warm up his hands before he like starts performing this operation. He's like, I don't need to scrub in. I'm pretty sure my hands are clean enough. And also, but then also Colby's there, which is great because Colby is just a history of being around these incredibly awkward conversations as the third wheel. He was not watching Treasure Island, but he was watching something else completely unfold in real time.
I have to say something about Colby, okay? Which is, when I saw he was coming back, I really wasn't that excited. And I was like, meh. Oh my God, I love when I'm wrong. Like, and I really do mean this when it comes to these returning players. Sometimes I'm just dead wrong. I'll be like, this person's bad. And then they come back and they play an amazing game. And I'm like, I was so wrong. How amazing that they like came back and really showed out. Colby, I think, and I don't know why I never made this connection because I do have listened to quite literally probably at this point millions of hours of RHAP from, evolution of strategy, all of these podcasts, and like the impression of Colby that has been done over the years. Like one of Colby's quotes is on your tier list, Mike, like ain't no Hershey bar.
Yeah.
I think Colby got a bad rap kind of as like the golden boy, but which like it's so funny saying that that's a bad rap because like everybody dreams of that, but like to me, the golden boy is just like kind of milk toast, bland, like good guy. Colby is so interesting. Like he is so quirky. He's like kind of a weirdo. He's not afraid at all to say what he thinks. He's incredibly blunt. Like he'll get into it with somebody. Like one of his first confessionals was him being like, Rizzo's lazy. Like I just think that he's hysterical. And I'm like, he's such a fun personality. And I was so dead wrong. Like I've been loving having him back. I think he's such a great character. I can't wait. I hope he makes it far. I hope we get to see more of Colby. Like he's not, again, like I said, he's not afraid of conflict. Like, yeah, he was in this episode being like honor and integrity. But again, I'm saying that in my Colby voice because there's something to quote because he does pop so much on the screen.
This feels like the most fun Colby we've ever had.
And I mean,
the first away from Rizzo.
Yeah, I mean, the first Colby's very fun. Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like Colby has any other Gen Zers to interact with. So unfortunately, we miss out on that generation gap. But maybe father and son will get together soon. But I put it out before. I'll keep pointing it out because I saw a couple of people on Reddit actually flag it now. I'm just obsessed with Colby's yas. Again, you will never unhear it. We're now at every challenge. Jeff says a sentence, and Colby in the background just goes, yeah! Like, watch the challenge back. Every 30 seconds, they pull the string on the doll and just hear, yeah! Like, he's really, I mean, Colby's incredibly amped, right? This is a guy who has his game face on to the point where he refused chocolate his last time out. And so he kind of has that, like, pump up energy to him. I'm surprised it was not in the rap. If he did, Colby could have been like Lil Jon, trying to do his own backups. It'd be the hype man. But just notice that, people. That's a great sign of just the energy that Colby brings, which is this, like, as you mentioned, this simultaneous verb, yet he is still a little curmudgeonly Colby, where he's just sort of like, I've been around the sun way too many times. I'm not dealing with this shit anymore. Come on. I was on Joey, damn it.
Do you think he keeps repeating himself because he's concussed?
He might be, or he can't remember. He can only hear out of one ear. So he might also like
because he whacked his noggin, and that's the kind of impact that got Bruce back for a second season.
I was just saying, like, Laura, as not to say you're a medical professional, you're the closest thing to it among the three of us. What's your sense of Colby's CTE?
No. No, I won't claim that. No, thank you. It did seem like Jeff must have not seen that, right? Like,
I mean, he yelled at Colby, "You're on Survivor. You're gonna get a little scraped up.
You're gonna bleed a little bit on Survivor." I was like, he could be out. And if I'm always imagining alternate endings to this season, like, was it last week when he was like, D has still not surfaced, and then they didn't cut to D surfacing? It's like, what if we only get 3 episodes and then everyone dies? And I guess we know everyone made it out okay, but it really does seem like it could take a turn.
Yeah, it does. I mean, people are.
Jeff's a little wound up this season.
Yeah, Kyle
Jeff's gonna push through.
Kyle ruptured his Achilles, and everyone else said, "Bet I'm gonna put our lives in mortal danger as well moving forward. Let's have an injury per episode."
Totally. Can we go back, Mike, to talk about the Charlie of it all?
Yeah,
is that okay?
We need to talk about this because this is one of the most fun edited sequences I can remember in recent memory. It's just an incredible use of flashback, right? Where Rizzo tell this stuff, and then just Charlie's slow turn of like, Rizzo gives me this delicious bite of information, but this guy said something last night that pissed me off. I mean, like, Maggie, if you were to tell me, oh yeah, Charlie gets angry at Rizzo because he allegedly did not vote for his #1 ally to win, like, that's the rationale I assign in a Brant steal. when there's a 2D photo of somebody gunning for somebody else. I could not imagine this was an actual reasoning that someone was going to try to vote somebody out.
Well, I also think that when it comes to this situation, it was so fascinating to me because, you know, last week we had the Rick Devens and Joe big, you know, kerfuffle, and Rob went into that so deeply, and he kept saying, like, Joe is so wounded because of what just happened to him on his last season. And I think that this was so surprising to me because as somebody in the community, like, Charlie has not been. Sometimes we see people come off Survivor and be loud and proud about who they think wronged them, making video essays, you know, doing like all of these things, talking crap about them at every turn, making little jokes, little jabs. Charlie doesn't really do that. Like, Charlie, even after it all happened, like he kept it pretty in about Maria. Like, I kind of thought he was like above the fray a little bit and was like, that's the way it happened. That's the way it happened, you know, but like, no. Clearly not at all. Clearly, this is something that has wounded Charlie very, very deeply. And it honestly makes me have like a little more respect for Charlie that he was able to maintain such a cool head about it when I'm sure the world was all coming at him being like, don't you hate Maria? Like, don't you want to say horrible things about Maria? The fact that he didn't give into that, I'm like, okay, like Charlie's like a good guy, you know, like not adding to the hate that went to Maria online. But clearly this is something that has deeply wounded him and is something that he's very, very conscious of. And so I think that not only was it so fun, but it was a really interesting and fun surprise as the audience to be like, oh, Charlie is not above this. Charlie is pissed off about this, and everybody better watch out because he's kind of keeping it a secret that he's so pissed off about this. Like, it was amazing to me. And that's what I'm talking about the continuation of story. I was like, this is brand new information for everybody. And I agree with you. The way that they edited it to be such a surprise made all of us kind of have that moment together. It was great.
He saved it for the beach. And that melodramatic cut of it was like a film noir. Like Charlie like walked into his detective office and like shuddered, pulled the drapes, and then was like, can't stop thinking about what Rizzo said to me last night. Big cut to the beach, Chiron last night. Like that's really well done. And it did feel so unexpected, Maggie. Like I have listened to every interview with Charlie. I adore Charlie. That's who I would have voted for to win. Not taking anything away from Kenzie, obviously great winner as well, but it really felt like it slipped right through his fingers. And it has felt, listening to him talk and debrief the season, which I guess like not so long ago, really, when he's playing 50, it really felt like he had almost set a boundary of like, I'm not going to let this affect my experience of my season. I'm not going to talk about it. It feels private. It feels like he's making his own peace in whatever way, and it's not up for public discussion. And so then to come right out of the gate with being like, I'm pissed, but also here's why. Like we could see, oh, weird. Charlie doesn't seem to be taking to Rizzo, even though Rizzo is dumping all this information on him and they seem like they're getting along well. Why doesn't Charlie seem all in on Rizzo? To be self-aware enough to be like, this is the red flag. This is why I don't like this boy. Here's what I'm going to do about it. Was so thrilling. Like, that's all we want.
Yeah.
That's like the old era players speaking to the camera without any awareness of Twitter. Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean,
that is so thrilling.
It's a confirmation that Charlie was on Survivor 46 for a reason. It's sort of like that black sheep of the family that's like, well, everyone on 46 was kind of wackadoo and, you know, kind of petty to one another, but Charlie stood above it all. He was the most normal person on there, and it turns out that it was just sort of like a more dormant trait within Charlie. It was more of a recessive gene, but then it came out. I mean, of course, this all is not helped by the fact that apparently one of the first things Rizzo does upon hitting the beach is say like, listen, everybody, I'm just going to clear the air and ask a couple questions. Charlie, that's your wound, right? Do you still talk to Maria? Huh?
And to me, like, the best part of the film noir that you're talking about, Laura, is the cut to Charlie, like, in the night vision, eyes wide open.
Just staring.
Charlie's had some really great, like, cuts to camera recently. Like, he's really, you know, if Charlie was Jim from The Office on 46, in just being like the straight man that all these wacky characters were playing against. Like he is, I don't think he's even doing it intentionally, but just the way his face lights up with like joy at certain things, like the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, or just the horror of what he's about to have to do is really, really exciting.
I'm trying to think on the Rizzo note. I don't know if we've ever had the dynamic before of, hey, I met you at a fan event before I played, and now I get to be alongside you.
And Suri is like, the Riz got, well, she said to you in the preseason interview, like, I've never met a Rizzo who's above board.
Yeah, you met never a Rizzo who's on the up and up, is what she said.
That is the funniest quote ever, by the way, because I don't know that I have either, Suri. It's just so delicious. She just clearly, like, does not have time for that. But she doesn't like these types of characters. She doesn't like these Corys, you know, these, like, young guys, but then she liked Aris on his original season. Like I don't know. It's always interesting to me.
but to be fair, Aris was not going up to Suri being like, hey, what was it like when you played Survivor?
Yeah.
The way that Corey and Rizzo have been.
Totally. I also feel like it would not be complete to talk about this episode without talking about Miss Flippin.
Let's talk about Emily Flippin.
Oh,
talk about someone who's proving why they were brought back.
Oh my God.
The edit of Emily on her season was so much about that character arc of learning how to be softer, learning how to open up, learning how to get along with people and manage her threat level and all of this stuff. And to see that like she as a player unleashed is just as entertaining as any arc of her, like big air quotes, learning how to play Survivor is so exciting. Because why did you do that? Why did you do any of that?
I mean, yeah, let's walk through the series of events here. Now, granted, Emily gets told a piece of information at the last second that just throws everything to us right. And what's also interesting is that it seems like from what Christian told her, it was just Aubrey has an idol. She has no idea why he knows this information. So just she has a million questions in her head. And so it's sort of like the Survivor Ipecac to commence the word vomit that is to ensue over the course of Vatu Beach, as then she goes to like Q and Ozzy. Nice to meet you guys. By the way, here's this wild thing that Christian told me. Isn't this weird? Yeah, Q, I'll definitely want to work with you. You, me, Stephanie, Ozzy, we're locked in. Who are you gunning for? Angelina? Hey, Angelina, by the way, look at what Q was saying. Isn't that wild? Nice to meet you too, by the way. As Angelina says, it's one of the weirdest first conversations she's ever had because it's so abrupt. I just wonder what was the timeline, and at what point did Emily finally sort of take a breath and realize, like, oh, what did I just say for the past 2 hours? Because the scene of her and Christian is so good. I think my favorite part is her approaching him and being like, you know, I told them what happened with the idol, and Christian says, who? Oh, no, who knows about it? And she goes, them. It's just that, like, groan and subtle nod to these people and just ubiquitous them that causes Christian to flip a shit externally and internally.
Also, like, yeah, she's like, whoa, them. Whoopsie. But also, like, I've been thinking a lot about this because I heard Rob describe Natalie Anderson on The Traitors in a way that I had never like thought about this before. He's like, the way I see Natalie is like, she sees the ball, she hits the ball. Like, that's the way you play. And I think that is the way Emily plays while having this sort of analytical mind. So like, she cannot keep things in. She sees the ball, she has to hit the ball.
Yeah.
But she has like this extra layer of it, of like paranoia, and like Natalie Anderson is like that, but cool as a cucumber and like knows what she has to do, makes a decision and goes for it. Like Emily basically is running up to the bat every single time like somebody else is up to bat and taking their, you know, like their strike for them. Like that's how I feel. Like she
was doing up. You know, sorry, this is, you know, in Napoleon Dynamite where they're playing like what's tetherball,
yeah.
And then at a certain point, I mean, this is like the epilogue of Napoleon Dynamite, but at a certain point, he just keeps hitting it and it keeps going around and Deb is just ducking. Like, that's what Emily was doing. Like, instead of hitting the tetherball and waiting for someone else to hit it back, she's just hitting it around the pole and around the pole and around the pole every time it comes back to her. Like, and you'd think if you had a few more calories in your brain, you could be like, well, I trust Christian. Christian's my main ally. He gave me information. I have a moment to talk. Like, I don't like the way that information was put on me. I have a moment to talk to Christian. He's on my tribe. Aubrey's not on my tribe, so I don't have to worry about this. Like, let's take a second and figure out why that happened. And instead it like activated a sleeper cell in her.
Well, not only that, you also have the whole Ozzy element as well, which is like, episode 1, Ozzy, gotta take him out. Episode 2, but what about Ozzy? Episode 3, I want to get closer to you. Ozzy, we need to make this move together. Like, she dropped her buff and I think fully became a different person, it seems.
Also, I'm so sorry. Emily had the freaking audacity after she tells everybody about what Christian just told her. These people that she has never met. She has the audacity to, in her confessional, be like, but I'm not here to play Christian's game. I'm here to play my game. Girl, you are playing no game. What are you doing? What are you doing? And like yes, literally. And I'm not saying this like to dunk on her. I'm saying this like, what? Like, how is your mind still getting you to that position to say that in the confessional and be like, I'm okay with the fact that I word vomited every single piece of information I've been given that actually could have been really useful to me down the road. And actually, if I had held on to it, could have been incredibly important and useful for my game. Even if I decided I did want to betray Christian later on, like, how could you be like, and I'm okay with that because I'm not here to play Christian's game? Like, no, girl, no.
Well, I think this is where, though, past precedent comes to roost here, because the fact of the matter is Emily has kind of like experienced the worst case scenario in her first season, right? Like, she knows how bad it can get. So I think from her perspective, it's not to say like, I'm playing with house money because I nearly got myself voted off first last time and that didn't end up happening. I was the last surviving on my tribe. But I wonder if for her, she has kind of like seen what the edge is. And so now she's like, I'm not getting all the way over there. You know, I'm mostly to the edge, but like, I am not so bad as I was in episode 1. I've still got some house money to play with. And for what it's worth, despite all this stuff that Emily did, she's being edited to us as the swing vote, as the key determinant as to whether Q or Angelina went home.
I said, where is Heidi and where is Rob Sesternino? Where are they? Because if I were on that tribe, I'm not joking. If I was Q, I would have gone to Christian and been like, so what's going on here? She told me all this stuff. Why would we go after? Why would we do 3 and 3? Why don't we just go after her? Like, that's exactly what I would have done. I know why Q didn't. Like, I understand. But like, that is the moment when you pull a Survivor Amazon and you say, hey, let's kick out our swing vote who feels so comfortable in the center here. Christian probably wouldn't have done that, you know, but still.
All right, well, we got to talk about Q here because, Laura, I just got to get your opinions on Q, both going into this season as well as what we got from him. Do you feel he was gone too soon, too Q in this season?
I mean, yeah, I'll always take more Q, and I think that he'll be back. I think he was one of the only people watching his first season in the new era. It was like, oh, he's on lock to return. There's no way they're giving that up. He's so entertaining. I think knowing that Q kind of plays the way Q plays and that he was weirdly put in this sort of straight man position with some of these bigger characters, like, I'm not heartbroken to see him go, knowing that we're going to get a lot of character action from the rest of the players. But yeah, gone too soon. And I feel bad. I think like losing votes is such a, has that ever really added anything?
I mean, to be fair, at least this was maybe like the best version. It's a little bit like, putting lipstick on a pig, but he did sell his vote, technically speaking. There was some intrigue, especially considering that Ozzy is one of the people who turned on him, and he's the one he sold that vote to in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. So it felt premature, but I don't think it's I don't think the season was ripped out from under him. And I do think that like the lost vote really has a lot to do with that, which makes me sad because that feels like such a random, doesn't create a lot of drama thing.
I think that the loss of Q from where I'm sitting is easier to swallow because I do feel so confident that he'll be back again. Like, I'm like, okay, Q, I'll see you next time. And I mean that like very positively. I'm like, I'll see you again. And I think that it would have been tougher to lose, you know, some of these people we've been waiting 10 years to see,
True.
who I'm like, maybe won't come back again. But also like, yeah, of course Q is gone too soon. Who doesn't love Q on their screen? You know?
And he's such an unstoppable force that I don't necessarily need to see him bump up against other characters the same way. Like some of these people, it's so interesting to watch the David versus Goliath 3 play together. It's so interesting to watch the way Suri and Ozzy's relationship over these multiple seasons is like pushing and pulling and building. But I get the impression with Q that Q is going to play how Q is going to play no matter who he's playing with. So those dynamics are not as tantalizing to me.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, the Q that we saw in the first 2 episodes was like shades of Q. You know, it was like a Q impression. It didn't feel like the real McCoy. This episode did. And I think part of it, which she's talked about in various exit press, including with me, is because he basically felt swap screwed. Because he figured out like, okay, there's going to be these 3 of David versus Goliath. Christian and Emily are working together. Mike White and Ozzy know each other. And so it's just me and Stephanie. And I don't have a vote. And so I think he was trying to kind of do whatever he needed to do. And that was to the extent of him sitting down with Emmy Award winner Mike White and saying, vote for me.
In defense of this move, they've been upfront about we're going to vote for Stephanie. Is he trying to split the vote, thinking he has Stephanie, Ozzy, and Emily, like best case scenario, that's 3 votes because he doesn't have a vote. And then there's the David versus Goliath 3. So if he splits them and there's 1 vote on him, there are 3 votes. Like, is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah. Let me outline this because Q was able to answer this directly himself. So he said that was a scenario that could have happened. But ideally, like the worst thing that could have happened that he wanted to do was he wanted to put the vote specifically on himself instead of Stephanie. Because if the Dave versus Goliath trio vote for Q, and then Stephanie, Emily, and Ozzy vote for Angelina, it's 3-3. It's a tie. Remember, in a tie vote, the people who are being voted for do not vote again. So, like, if Stephanie had gotten 3 votes, she wouldn't have a vote, and Q wouldn't have a vote. So that side would have lost. Now, this would have been true in the first, 40 seasons of the show. But we may not remember this, but as of season 47, we know that if there's a tie vote and one of the people didn't have a vote to begin with, the other person can vote.
Because it's not just their votes are canceled, it's that their votes cancel each other out.
Exactly. So it's this weird sort of odd corollary where Angelina would have been able to vote. So it would have been 3-3 again. And I don't know if people are going to rocks necessarily for Q. So I think Q was a little... didn't necessarily understand the fine print that came with that move, but that was at least his intention as he's expressed it.
Okay, well,
watching that, I was like, dude, what are you doing? But in hindsight, I'm like, I think there was a little more here. I think no,
totally agree.
He's good at the game.
Totally agree. And when I heard his explanation of it, I didn't have that 47 knowledge. I had forgotten about that. When Q said that, I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I know probably why they didn't waste the time on it in the show since he was going home anyways, but
exactly.
That makes perfect sense. Good on you, Q. You knew what you were doing in a way that was actually very creative and risk-taking, which is Q, in a nutshell to me, a creative risk-taking character and player. And yeah, I don't have any issue with his logic there, genuinely.
All right. There's some stuff that I want us to get into here.
Okay.
I want to go back to the RHAP.
Okay.
Because look, it wouldn't be this podcast if we did not sort of parse this out and really get into the nitty-gritty of what this minute of television was. We're going to create this a poster film here. So I have the video of him doing this, and we can stop down at points, because there are a few things that I need to say about this, that there's just smaller details contained therein that, look, it's a lot to take in. I understand if people want to tune out for the next little while, but there's so much in here that I think needs to be properly dissected. It's like cutting open a monkfish, you know?
Mike, you should have warned me. I would have come prepared. I would have had an alcoholic beverage so that we could really dive into this without pain.
I think, Maggie, I need one of your Lexapro. Yeah. I had a physical reaction to this.
I paused it.
And I don't want to hear it again. I had to put a pillow in front of my head.
Oh my God. Well, I apologize for subjecting you all to this. We'll do it piecemeal at least. So we'll try to extend it out. So this is Jeff rapping on Survivor 50 in the hands of the fans.
I'll tell you what. Before we get to the festivities, can I get a little bit of this?
So I need to start with this. Let's start with the snap. Keep making Avengers Endgame references here, I guess, with the snap. Why snapping, Jeff? Snapping is one of the oddest percussive sounds you can do to create some sort of diegetic beat. Maybe it was due to the fact that they're mic'd up and the claps might be too loud, but like, I feel like I can barely snap one of my hands. I don't know how you could get any sort of a sense of rhythm out of 21 people trying to snap their fingers from about 12 feet away at the point that he's standing.
I feel like this is the most how do I say, like, college orientation leader version of it, you know, like this is sort of,
if you hear my voice do this.
Yeah,
if you hear
this is a family show.
Mm-hmm.
Family,
you know,
it's a snappy family show. You know?
Yeah. Totally.
You know how everything cool starts with a bunch of people snapping in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing too. Like we'll get into some of the reactions from these people, but like, imagine you're Suri or you're Ozzy. You have known Jeff for 20 years at this point. You have played like hundreds of days with him in your presence. And this man says, I want you to start snapping for me. What would be the first possible thing your mind would go to?
Not this.
I think he's
Certainly
doing like a
this.
Sound check.
Yeah,
like
that's a
there's
great
no
call.
world in which I would think he was getting ready to do something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay, maybe it would be like you think it's like slam poetry, and granted, this is like slam poetry's like inbred cousin, basically, in the form of the rap that Jeff produces. But like that's what I think of when I think of snaps, is like in response to, you know, a nice calm sort of in-house intimate setting snapping, not out on Fiji trying to create some sort of beat so that Jeff doesn't get completely lost in the sauce.
Yeah, it's like in music theory class when they would give us a rhythm to work through to prove that we knew math. Like it's not setting the stage for something exciting. And he didn't lean into the camp of it at all. Why doesn't he have a microphone? Why isn't he wearing like sunglasses? Like put your hat backwards or something, Jeff. Like any shred of humor would help here.
I mean, that's the thing, though, that we'll see, Laura, is that I think Jeff is absolutely petrified as he does this. And this is a man who I have seen on set is incredibly remarkable at doing all these explanations in one take. He does not stumble and start over. There's no ADR in his ear. This is a guy that's able to rattle off challenge instructions in the moment like nobody's business. But I think this is something legitimately that throws him off. He did an interview. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, we need On Fire to explain this.
Is that the reason why they got rid of it?
He's like, I will not explain. Do you think he lost a bet?
No.
So he did an interview with Dalton Ross, and he said that like he came up with the idea this morning, that he woke up and chose poetic violence and said, I want to do a rap today. And he went around to a bunch of people and said, here's a rap I have prepared. Do you think I should do it? And they all said, Jeff, hell yes.
Fire them.
He has not one true friend on that island. You need to kill your darlings. You need to kill your morning of rap idea. And listen, I am a Jeff defender, like to the bone. Like I love that man. I think he does incredible work. This not not his finest moment. I always think Maggie loves to show new people Big Brother, which I think is a dangerous game. And she always talks about how embarrassing it is when you sit them down for the premiere and then they're like being dragged to hell by the Nether Gorgon. And you're like, I promise this show gets good at some point. Like, if Jeff is serious about making Survivor 50 accessible to new people, imagine you turn this on and they're doing Schoolhouse Rock on an island. Like, what would you do? For me, I turn it off. It really also, required a strong level of devotion to get through this.
Yeah, also like Survivor is like the badass show. You know, it's like where you go and you do badass stuff in the jungle. And like this is not that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty badass. It takes a lot of gumption to be able to do this.
It does. It does.
We're 1 second into this wrap.
Yes, we are. I know you're trying to prolong.
Jeffrey.
You're trying to prolong the inevitable here, but I must press play as we must dig into the lyricism of Jeffrey Lee Probst.
Now this season's in the hands of the fans. They're calling the shots. It's out of our hands.
Now, what I will commend Jeff for is that if you told me he was doing a rap, I would bet my life savings that the first lyrics would have been, my name's Jeff Probst and I'm here to say. And he just completely, much like the storytelling itself, he didn't need any exposition. He didn't need to introduce himself. But considering that this is giving Dare Assembly, I was waiting for that type of words to get involved.
I would have at least loved to get everyone snapping on the 2 and the 4, maybe.
Or not
we didn't really set him up for success.
Do you really think Colby's snapping on the? Do you think Joe Hunter is snapping on the 2 and the 4? Also, we've got to just talk through a little bit of the lyrics here. So it's, now this season's in the hands of the fans. We're calling the shots. It's out of our hands. A little bit of a slant rhyme. Like they use hands twice, technically speaking. I don't want to go full genius here, but while we're here, might as well.
Mike, this is so crazy.
They pick the buffs you're wearing today.
All right, I want to stop here actually for a second because we need to start talking about the reactions that these people are having. Joe, now people I think understandably talk about chicken and waffles, and there's a lot of comparisons that's like, okay, which is the cringier moment? And so you think, okay, Joe has lived through that. Joe is frozen. This man is Josen. Like, he does not move. His eyebrows are perennially arched. Like, you would think on paper he would be one of the people least taken surprise by this, but he is in, like, low-key shock that this is occurring.
He looks like, I mean, Joe has kids, right? Like, he looks like when a 5-year-old walks up to you and tells you about their dream. Like, he's really trying to engage. Is my impression of this. Oh, okay. Very cool, buddy. Like, that's what I'm getting from Joe.
And the, like, big laughs that you got from, like, Angelina and Rick and Emily here are, like, really, to me, giving, like, if I don't laugh right now, I will have to melt into the floor because this is so, like, the secondhand feeling, you know?
All right, well, let's see if everyone else matches that vibe.
They and the rice and supplies, what they said, no way. And now it's time.
Charlie's just shaking his head.
Mike White is thrilled. Mike White has the biggest shit-eating grin on his face.
Now we also have to indicate right over here on the right-hand side, Camilla. Who
she's real for that. She's the only real one.
I'm surprised she wasn't cut out entirely from this, because I would imagine out of all 21 people, she was by far the least enthused. She's like, not this shit again. Oh my God, I thought we escaped this. As she said before, I don't want to do the honesty, the loyalty, the integrity, and I don't want to do the Matt Chat songs. And you can see that Camilla is just, I wouldn't say over it, but she certainly is like, yeah, same shit, different day, isn't it?
Exactly.
Time to drop another fan vote.
Okay, yeah,
of course. Of course. This is why, okay? Now, I want everybody to really think long and hard about what I said before, about how Coach is literally perfect. Like, this is Coach. This is Coach Coach was in flow state with Jeff. Like of course, like the downward hand. Like what else could you want
This is
from
Coach's
him?
8 Mile. He's like, oh
Yeah.
boy.
This is Coach and Jeff right now as two bitches telling each other exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is because Coach basically did a rap on his way out of Exile Island. He stopped the proceedings to read a poem. I think he's absolutely feeding Jeff's fuel by being like, listen, I don't care if everyone else is laughing at you. You just look at me, buddy. I'm here for you the entire way. I'm your assistant coach right now. In fact, you know what? Let me break out my trumpet. I'll provide a beat behind it.
Oh yeah. Coach is perfect.
All right, I'm going to rewind here so listen more to Lyrical Genius.
Time to drop another fan vote. The dangerous kind. This one will cut your throat.
Okay, so this, we're dropping another fan vote. The dangerous kind. This one will cut your throat. That's a very...
Much better.
I mean, it's
not the same word.
Pretty presumptuous, though, and actually rather aggressive. I don't know if I'd say a tribe swap would cut your throat necessarily.
It would end your life in the game.
I suppose so, but it feels more secondhand. You know, it feels like the people are cutting the throat. The swap is more so providing the knife. You know, they're sort of involved. They're an accessory to murder, not necessarily the perpetrator.
True. They get 20, not 20 to life, you know.
So are you ready to drop your plans?
Exactly.
So I know that, first off, put this in the Louvre. This is great. I think that Genevieve, I imagine in the moment it was in response to like her sort of seeing the writing on the wall a bit, though how could you possibly? Maybe which is why Jeff threw it out of like, listen, I said drop your buffs in every which way I could. How about I shake it up just a little bit? But I think the much funnier reaction would be that this is like, she is to this rap what Sophie is to Jack and Jill in South Pacific. She's like, Jeff, really? Really? You want to do this? I'm obsessed. I love it.
Are you ready to drop your hands?
Okay, let's get into this one for a second. It's because we start getting into the inquisitory part of the lyrics. So Jeff says, so are you ready to drop your plans? Are you ready to drop your hands?
From snapping.
Yeah, they're done snapping.
No more snapping.
Is that what he's saying? Like, stop snapping now? Because also, drop your hands. Drop to me, the verb implies you're holding something and you then let it go. Your hands, as far as I can know, are attached to your body. When your hands are up, the police don't say, drop your hands. They say, put your hands down. You know, it just feels odd to say drop your hands is a very odd term to me. I don't know why I'm so fixated on it.
Well,
I would say that's not the squeaky wheel here, but I appreciate where you're going with that.
I also think that, like, if, he rhymed earlier, hands and hands. Like, I think that he is trying to play on drop your buffs, drop your hands. He's doing a secondary rhyme scheme.
If this had not been a same day creation and there was any time to workshop it, I would have said we could cut that little couplet entirely and just go straight to drop your bluffs, drop your buffs.
Yeah, because you bring up a good point, Maggie, that the first lines were, now this season's in the hands of the fans. We're calling the shots. It's out of our hands. And then we went to, so are you ready to drop your plans? Are you ready to drop your hands?
Jeff loves hands.
Jeff loves hands. Well, I'm trying to think now of like, okay, are you ready to drop your plans? Trying to think about, take a look, every woman and man. Like, I guess, do we want to keep creating this? Are you ready to drop your blank? Like, is there a better word than hands here?
I think you've only used fans once, and maybe you could sneak fans in again. Since the fans are supposed to be sort of the theme of the season. But again, then you're doing the same rhyme twice.
Exactly. Let's see.
Which color are you? Pull out your crayons.
Oh, not crayons.
Oh no.
There's a reason I don't rap either. Okay.
I like this. Okay, whether you're a newbie or you're an also ran. Let's see. Take off the headphones, take off the cans. Let's
Are you hungry? Here's some Raisin Bran.
Okay, that's
something
great.
About their tans. They're
Oh yeah. Are you ready to drop your tans? Because you were also gonna take away the sun. You're back to being pale as you were before.
Sure, yeah. I think this would have benefited from a little editing even in just the sense of making it a little shorter, knowing that Jeff has expressed before that when they bring them in to do like a swap or something and they have a fake challenge set up, it's specifically so they get the face crack of, okay, people are coming in ready to take on the challenge, and then just kidding, the rug is pulled out from under you. I would say that the second Jeff asks for a beat, that some of that tension dissipates, and that maybe if you were gonna go for a musical interlude, a shorter one could have had a similar destabilizing moment instead of, oh no, what's Jeff doing? This is another twist. Here it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. That maybe that was the Genevieve face, was like this was going on for a good amount of time, and she's like, Jeff isn't just rapping the way he normally does. This time there's an ulterior motive. DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Is it possible that there was more rapping and that was cut?
I mean, what I'm going to say is release the Probst edit. I want to see the full-length version here. How many times was hands mentioned? Does he go through each finger? I'm not entirely sure. Let's index those lyrics. Let's finish this off here, mercifully so.
Are you ready to drop your bluffs because the fans have spoken? It's time to drop your bluffs.
What do you think about the audience encouragement there at the end?
That's what rappers do. They get the audience involved. That's what true artists do, Mike. You know, that's when you're holding the mic and then you hold it out to the audience and they, you know.
Now I see your point. Now I see your point, Laura. That I think the mic would have helped so that when he holds it out, it's there too to say drop your buffs.
Yeah, I think a prop always makes things a little less painful. I think it really could have served him well here.
All right. Well, I will remove us all from that setting, mercifully enough. But I just had to, for lack of a better term, break it down. Because again, think about Jeff first thing in the morning, ass crack of dawn. He's like, good morning, world. Time to write a rap that will change you forever. And just to think about, what are the lyrics that he was...
Mike. It did change me forever.
Exactly. See, this is a canon event for you, Maggie. There was life before the Probst rap and life after the Probst rap. You will never be the same. None of us will be.
Nope.
Do you think he's trying for an EGOT?
Ooh, well, he doesn't have. He hasn't even Emmy. I was gonna say he's open for. He's 1 for 4 so far.
So he needs the GOT.
He needs the GOT, and I don't think he got it.
I think maybe he got GOT.
Now, this is an interesting thing though, because let's also remember. Now, this came up in the off season. Jeff has also released a rock song. If you've heard about the classic Survivor 50 parentheses, come and get it.
That you better be ready.
Oh no, you haven't heard Survivor 50 come and get it?
No.
Okay.
Right now? Are we doing it?
I mean, the Band-Aid's kind of ripped off. Are you
gonna get a copyright strike, Mike? On
That's
this
a great question. I'd like to hope that it is that it's entirely free reign. Public domain, exactly. It's like Jingle Bells. It's like Happy Birthday. Jeff just wants to be nice and release this song entirely to the public. But let me see if I can pull this up. Got some YouTube ads, unfortunately, because I'm a dirty premium subscriber. Okay, great. Let's experience this all together, shall we? So this is something that it came up, I feel like in the beginning of February, maybe, I want to say. All right.
Wandoff realness. Is Jeff reheating the Wandoff's nachos?
No, because this isn't a completely original song. This is not a parody at all. So I'm just going to give you like a tease of it. And this isn't actually a picture of Jeff, by the way.
It isn't?
Ah, yeah. Come on in. Stick those toes in the sand. Look at that. We got folks going all the way back to the South China Sea when the game was still new. We're talking OG. And some of you so young, I'm not sure you were birthed when the fire first burned and Survivor hit Earth. If you got plans on Wednesdays, you might want to cancel them because the only place to be is in beautiful Fiji for Survivor 50. Here we go. Well, they all came to play. Ain't no sheep in this pack. They say, work together. You say, that's a trap. Because it's one simple question. What's real and what's not? Who's gonna get and who's gonna get got? Well, the fans built the rules and they set every twist. They dropped eggs in the jungle that you don't want to miss. Either handle this game or it will handle you. Crack under pressure. Hello, deja vu. Come and get it. Take what's yours. You want it bad? I say you gotta want it more. So come on, come and get it. Take what's yours. You want your face in the stone? Then you got to bring the war.
And you get the picture.
I'm going to be honest. One, I see the direct correlation between the rap and that song.
I mean, it essentially is, with just a little bit of a harder beat behind it.
But I appreciate it. I could get into that more than the rap. For whatever reason, that humiliated me a lot less. And I think perhaps it's because that felt self-referential in a way that the rap did not. That felt more self-aware than the rap did. Maybe it was just the photo of Jeff Probst from the 1980s.
Very disarming, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like that's at least like LOL, like this is the vibe of this. Like, look at this old photo of me. So I think that embarrassed me a lot less and I could really relax into it and have a good time with it, you know?
I think it's the level of buy-in. And I also we're getting a lot of speaking on pitch from Jeff. And I know he has the pipes because I was an On Fire listener, RIP. And he had taken to ending the very tag of those episodes was whistle tones from Jeff. So like, I'll take more. And I think, honestly, how we could have saved the rap is one more day of preparation and give him a drum kit. Make it an actual performance, because nobody in an audience, when they are hungry and tired, you don't like when the performer comes out and sits on your lap and pets your hair. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to play along. You don't want to go up on stage. Like if Jeff just takes something prepared and serves it, then it's a little tongue-in-cheek, a little funny. I really do think it was the inclusion of getting all of these starving, suffering people to try to snap in time with you to set you up like a camp counselor. I think it could have, a little bit of polish could have made it a little more.
All respect to Mr. Probst, right? Like he's trying stuff. He's giving us this beautiful.
Listen. I am not meant to punch down here. As someone who is incredibly cringe himself, I'm punching across right now.
Totally.
I know firsthand. Rewind this podcast an hour and 6 minutes, and you will know what I am capable of producing. So I absolutely understand the initiative it takes, and that's why I'm obsessed with this. I want an entire genre trip from Jeff Probst. Please let him sing through a country song. Let him Harold Hill up EDM. I want all sorts of different styles of music that he'll perform in the style of Survivor.
Do you think this was an Easter egg to a celebrity cameo from Lin-Manuel Miranda later in the season? I knew that would get her.
I mean, a lot of people are throwing away their shots in the dark, so I think it would be appropriate.
That's a lot.
Deep breath, Maggie.
Amplify.
I can't imagine how some of these people would respond to Lin-Manuel. I mean, we'll find out, how they respond to like Zach Brown next week, but like that would be such a litmus test to see like who would respond well to Lin-Manuel Miranda versus who would be like, listen, Lin, I respect your work. Can't say I've heard the dang thing, but appreciate what you're doing honoring our founding fathers.
I feel like Colby would be a Hamilton guy.
I was going to say, there's no way he's not streaming that on Disney+.
Yeah, I think he likes that.
He did.
I love Hamilton.
He did tell me that he was a Swiftie, and so like I do think he has that type of taste where he's like, I imagine death that feels so much like a memory. Yeah! Like he's just reciting it in the car, weeping along to Satisfied.
Totally. He's probably on his way to Survivor was like, I'm not throwing away my shot.
All right. Well, we've got more audio in store for you, but blissfully so, it has nothing to do with Jeff Probst, but it's for my co-host who is in absentia, as we got to talk about our preseason predictions here. We've got to talk back about the man himself, Q. And of course, Q came in with a bit of a reputation, speaking of Taylor Swift. And the big question was going to be, was that immediately going to snipe him in the beginning, or was he going to have a little bit more leeway? And so Liana decided to send in her prediction for how she thought she was going to do. I'm just getting it loaded right now, but I'll start with what I thought to really put, I imagine what's going to be the worst prediction out here first. Now, for what it's worth, before the season, I did say that Q would be pre-merge, pre-jury. I wrote, to everyone's surprise, both in and out of the game, Q's alter ego, Calm with a Q. Or that sounds like a very bad wellness app, if it's not one already. Calm is someone who comes to play in the first phase of Survivor 50. Taking a page straight out of the second Tyson's playbook, he curbs his negative perception by focusing on being a provider and a challenge asset. Being on a tribe with Q is too delicious for Genevieve's taste in chaotic allies. The two of them are in lockstep during their time on Vatu, with only a small strain accrued when he helps Genevieve find an idol, then surreptitiously plans to take her out, saying, quote, the only person who can vote someone out with an idol in their pocket is me. After the first few episodes, Q is in surprisingly good position on Vatu. With Kyle gone, he's valued as one of the tribe's biggest challenge performers, and his low-key personality and work ethic has endeared himself to the old-school personalities like Colby and Stephanie. He and Angelina even get on after they collaborate on an on-island QVC ad for Q's Closet, once again with a Q, line of apparel. When the castaways are told to drop your buffs, not your hands, however, so is all the work Q put into rehabbing his image. Swapped into a minority on his new tribe, the generally negative perception Q had going into the season comes back to bite him. With very little time to get to know the new Q, he's seen as the least likely to work with the new majority, leading to a sudden and swift exit. His closest ally is Genevieve, and his enemy is himself from 2 seasons ago.
Work, Mike. This was great.
That was
nice
point.
job.
I'm sure I'm going to be outshone by Liana, so let us not tarry any further. Here's what she had to say about Q in the preseason.
Liana here. This is my preseason prediction for Q. I had Q making the jury, and I said that Q's strength and work ethic will keep him in the good graces of the tribe as he forms a tight connection with Colby and Stephanie in the Work Ethic Alliance. Yet, his game really takes off once Queen Genevieve realizes he could be a number for her. They work in lockstep through the pre-jury, and when Q wins an extra vote at a journey, Genevieve is the only one that he tells. Similar to his last go-round, however, the island madness starts settling in, and Q struggles to keep it together, worrying his own allies, especially his closest ally, Genevieve, who reluctantly lets him go to save her other new connections early merge. The editors had a blast with Q's confessionals, and we get a new catchphrase to abandon Arbor Day, which admittedly doesn't have the same ring to it as cancel Christmas. His ally was Genevieve, and his enemy was Island Madness. Don't make fun of me, Mike. Also, I just want to say that I hope you guys talked about the Jeff Probst RHAP and everything that went along with that. Bye. Wish I was there. Have a good time. Bye, 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 bye.
See, Liana's presence is felt no matter what. This was her the legacy advantage. I had to do it in honor of her. So again, apologies for taking such a deep dive, but it's what Liana would have wanted.
Totally. No, and I'm sorry that we were probably not as enthusiastic about going through it as Liana would have been. Liana would have probably dissected every single word.
But to be fair, was that not akin to the captive audience that Jeff had itself? I think you really mimicked the dynamic there.
Yeah, I will say we were really the starving islanders to your Jeff Probst rapper. Definitely.
Yeah. It's the
All right.
theater
We miss
school
you, Liana.
trauma.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's the thing. People are saying this is not a new era season. No more theater kid energy. And Jeff's like, oh. Did someone say theater kid energy? All right.
Totally.
So listening to what Liana had to say, who had the bigger sense of island madness between us? Who was more on the money when it came to Q Burnett?
I think you, Mike. I would vote for you.
I think it was you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah. I mean, it's really weird that Leon and I both picked up on Genevieve and Q. I guess when I was thinking back to the friend and foe game, Q and Genevieve were locked in, and Genevieve was one of only a couple people who did not say foe for Q on his tribe. So I think we were ready for that dynamic to happen, considering that we know Genevieve likes chaotic men, and Q wanted to work with Genevieve specifically because she was not a good public speaker from the one engagement they went to in Milwaukee, which is one of the most Q-coded things I've ever heard in my life. That is coded with a Q. But yes, I'm happy I'm happy to take the W here, even though Q took a major L, as did we all in losing him at this point.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I think in a non-swap world, I would have loved to see what Genevieve and Q could have done together, because they do seem like each other's kind of allies. I think that was a good prediction, just foiled by fate.
Well, let's see what fate has behold for the two of you, because we still have a game to play, and it is a very fun one. Of course,
I'm scared.
Honestly, Maggie, you kind of should be. Because this is a game that we have done on a seasonal basis thanks to the Dr. Frankenstein-like machinations of Sean, aka OK McGoogle, on Instagram. Because this episode has lovingly had so many dynamics and so many faces getting mixed up, we took that literally. And so we are doing a face morph of
I'm so good at
this. Okay. Maggie's calling her shot.
This genuinely, this is like the one game whenever I play an online Big Brother game or anything that like I nail. So I now I'm talking a lot of crap, and watch me be horrible, but I'm excited.
All right, so here's how this is going to work for the uninitiated. Sean has composed a bunch of composite shots, each of which contain 3 facial features or body features as well from Survivor 50 Castaways. So there are 3 castaways contained in one image. One of them is a given. The body and the general head will be from one person, so that will not be counted. But it's a very odd sentence for me to say objectively. But it is then up to you to determine who the other 2 people are. Now, you are going to write this down. We'll have you each sort of like obey the honor system. So you're going to write down who the other 2 people are. If you get 1 right, you get 1 point. If you get 2 right, you get 2 points. And so we will add them up all at the end of this, and we shall see who has a better eye for the freaky deakiness that comes with this game, part and parcel.
I'm talking so much crap, and Laura is just going to kick my butt. I know it.
I'm just trying to set expectations low so I don't disappoint myself.
Okay, so it's body and head, one person.
Body and general head.
General head is one person, and then the other 2 people are mixed up in the face in particular.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with person number 1.
No.
I'm gonna try to like describe who these individuals are for the people at home, which like you should absolutely check this out even if you're listening along. Like I would say stop your car on the side of the road. Honestly, if you see this image, it might cause you to stop in your tracks because some of them are quite visually arresting. This looks like a guy who waited 3 days in line for Billy Ray Cyrus tickets.
Yeah. I want to say some stuff, but I might have to say it off.
All right. Well, I don't know if you need more time to sift through your answers, Maggie. It seems like you are the expert here. So give me we assume the body is Rizzo, correct? Yep. But who are the other 2 people occupying his face?
Can I show you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Christian and Ozzy. Christian eyes, Ozzy mouth.
Christian eyes, Ozzy mouth. Laura, what did you have to say?
I said Ozzy and Jonathan.
Okay, well, you are both correct in Ozzy. That is Ozzy's wonderful mouth. Mm-hmm. But it is the deep blue eyes of one Christian Hubicki. Maggie is correct.
I would recognize those beautiful blues anywhere.
So true. The eyes of a grand larcenist, as he talked about at the very top of this episode.
Hey, someday his son's going to see this.
I hope we get that every single episode. It's so good. It's so good. All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Oh,
no. All right. This picture is of a 7th grader that's just really trying to make stuff happen, even when she's in the midst of the throes of puberty. She's trying her best to just not represent the internal angst that she's feeling, but it's not working incredibly well.
Okay, I need a second. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Laura was trying to block it out to be like.
Yeah, I was trying to like isolate the mouth.
That's literally what I'm doing. I'm like,
Who's
Maggie's trying to do last gasp. She's created some sort of hand snorkel to try to isolate the mouth from the rest of the face.
We need Johnny Mac for some tooth work here.
Oh boy, yeah.
I think I'm also having trouble
myself.
because I'm like, oh, it will be another woman's mouth, but why would it be another woman's mouth? Like,
we don't know that's a rule.
Be a man.
Mouth knows no gender.
I'm like trying to think of everybody who's on this season.
That is true. There's 24 people, so and this does include people who have been voted off as well.
Who the hell? Oh,
Oh, Laura struck with inspiration.
I was about to say, she probably beats me here.
All right, are you locked in, Laura? What do you think? So we know Suri, unfortunately, is the general head and body.
You didn't even bother to Photoshop out the necklace.
Just going to really give away the ghost here.
I think it's Camilla and Aubrey.
Camilla and Aubrey. Okay, Maggie.
I said Camilla and Chrissy.
I can confirm those eyes are the lying eyes of one Camilla Cartigesu. And the mouth is the smiling teeth of Aubrey Bracco. Laura ties it up.
Dang it. Okay.
I've been watching a lot of Aubrey lately. I finished Edge of Extinction the morning that season 50 premiered.
So you've got Aubrey on the mind. All right. Next up. This looks like a photo that would be on the campaign website of a man who's running in Tennessee's 8th district. And he's running on family values. So we know, obviously, this is Charlie. But I guess the question is, who's behind the squint and who's behind the sort of, like, bearded half smile?
This person could be the first person's brother.
Honestly, yeah, this could be a low-key blood versus water season.
This kind of looks like when Taylor Swift does drag in a music video.
Totally.
Very appropriate for Charlie.
I was gonna say, Charlie'd love that.
All right, Maggie, who do you got besides Charlie?
Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan. Genevieve eyes.
Genevieve eyes. Okay. What do you got, Laura?
That was my answer exactly.
And you're both correct. It is indeed the Juz, Genevieve eyes, Jonathan mouth.
Oh no, Laura, I'm feeling competitive now.
Don't.
Okay.
We'll wrestle later and figure it out.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is something, even if you're not wrestling, that might send you on your back upon looking at this next one.
Wow.
Oh.
This looks like a drag queen out of drag who just got out of a pool that had way too much chlorine in it.
What? Can I ask if there was editing on like the color of the lashes or something?
I have no earthly idea.
Okay. Because it kind of looks like there's like I don't know. Oh,
now you got me second guessing. I was so certain, and now I'm.
Maggie's mouth slit strategy has been incredible to watch so far.
Yeah, you're like, from where I'm sitting, it's working perfectly.
She's hacking the challenge. She's hacking the challenge.
Exactly. Where's Peridium video? How to hack B&B challenges. All right, Laura, you put down your pen in a furtive gesture. So who do you think it is besides Q?
I think that's Q, Tiffany, and the eyes of Mike White.
Okay. Maggie?
Agreed.
You are both simpatico, as you are with the answer. That is correct. And yeah, I guess good on Sean for trying to really fit the square peg into the round hole of making Mike White's face fit onto Q's body, but it just ain't taken incredibly well.
Wow.
Frightening.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in. Quite frightening to look at. I know that Mike thirsted after Q in the preseason. Maybe this is a reason why their children were just would not be necessarily compatible if they combine their genetics.
Not meant to be.
All right. Well, this next answer, or next clue, I should say, is meant to be frightening you. It's oh boy. How do I describe this person? They have a years-long subscription to Bass Pro Shops. It's the eyes that are really doing it for me. Like, there's only slight edits to the axis of rotation that it makes it look just a smidge in the uncanny valley. Of course, this is Coach, who is the general head and body, so he already kind of lives in the uncanny valley. But which facial features are joining him? We've got a lot of self-appointed filtering happening. I have a feeling it's around the mouth yet again. We've gone from in the hands of the fans to in the mouth of the players. Laura's closing one eye like she's practicing some sort of archery.
It's like I'm at the eye doctor.
It's the parallax, like Christian was saying. It's like, oh, well, the image that's jumbled up in my mind is too much. I've got to isolate one eye. Okay.
That took a really, really long time, but
okay.
I do think I found it.
Was it worth the wait, Maggie? Who do you think it is besides Coach Ben Wade?
Well, I want to give Laura the chance to answer.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. My pen
I
is
have
down.
Coach Ben Wade mixed with Emily Flippin' Eyes and Dee's mouth.
That's what I said.
Okay.
And you are yet again locked in. That is correct.
I'd recognize those chompers anywhere. Look at those beautiful teeth.
It was the lips, actually, that were just really throwing me off, like on Coach's bearded mouth. I was like, what's happening?
I mean, it's interesting that Coach essentially has like a season 45 face. This is the special.
This looks like if Coach came back for Drag Race All-Stars.
Yes, exactly. Like, just to give it a little bit more of eyebrows.
Just a little...
Yeah, he had a little bit of work done.
Totally.
All right, let's keep this freak show going, shall we? Oh, what am I doing? Okay, next up, we've got this charming individual.
Oh no!
I got it.
This is that cousin.
This is the easiest one yet.
Yeah.
This is that cousin who brings fireworks to every family gathering, no matter what time of year it is.
Oh.
No matter what, he says, can an M80 help this situation?
Wow. This is amazing.
All right, you two were locked in, and you continue to be locked into these answers. Let's see if that trend continues. Laura, who is it besides Angelina?
It's got to be Stephanie and Devins.
Yep.
Stephanie and Devins. That is correct. Yes, the eyes and nose of Stephanie and the mouth and chin of Rick Devins.
Wow.
And the I'm going to call it like liberally a 6 head on Angelina proper, just due to the facial proportions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You are all like basically batting 1,000 at this point, have not broken from each other in recent memory. But is this enough to break your stride? This is like when the princess kissed the frog. And it's like, oh, you're a prince, but you're not completely hands. Laura's doing the opposite of dropping her hands at this point. Maggie has now completely brought the filter to her face. This is like Maggie's like she's looking at it in an eclipse. This is her pinhole box that she's constructed to make sure she doesn't go blind from looking at it for too long.
You can only take in so much of this at once.
Oh, Colby. Just a perfect amount of face squishing going on. It's my favorite type of edits that they do. Truly makes you feel like something went wrong when this person was created, but something went very right when this game was created. Also, he has like a little bit of like a Jay Leno chin as well, just due to the size of the mouth.
Do you know Laura?
I thought I did, but then you were looking at it so hard, it makes me start second guessing myself.
Aha!
No, you
Mind
probably
games.
do know. I'm just I'm really struggling.
I'm gonna go with my first instinct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if I second guess, I'll regret it.
That's a good point. Go with your gut. Don't be like an Emily who's like, well, maybe I shouldn't go with my gut anymore. Stick with your intuition for now. It's guided you a pretty fair way into this game, but will that trend continue? Laura, who are the other two people besides Colby in this photo?
I said it was Joe and Chrissy.
Joe and Chrissy.
I did too, but I was wrong about Chrissy the first time, I think, which is why I was really like, I don't know.
This is why you need to trust your gut, because it is Joe and Chrissy. That is correct.
Okay, great.
All right, we've got one more, and so it is a tie game. So we could either end this game hand in hand, but I think this next picture will have your hands going over your face, and it's not to construct your pinhole box. Here is our 8th and final photo.
Wow.
This is like a Martin Short character in prosthetics, like in drag, but also in heavy amounts of makeup.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Jenna Lewis has been done so many disservices in this season. Add another one onto the pile with this photo.
This is the worst of the bunch, I think.
Yeah, I think this is even worse than getting voted off first.
Yeah. I'm ready, by the way.
Too.
Great.
Okay. Maggie, for the last time, who is it?
This is Jenna, Kyle, and Savannah.
Jenna, Kyle, Savannah. Laura.
That's what I said.
We call it the triple scoop for a reason. It is Jenna, Kyle's eyes, and Savannah's mouth. So look at this. After Maggie came in thinking high prospects of herself, Laura thinking extremely low prospects, you essentially both met in the middle and tied it all up and walked out of this as the co-winners. I could not even fathom what a tiebreaker of this would be at all. Handshakes all around. Job well done for both of you. Job well done to Sean as well for making sure that I stay an insomniac for one more day. Thank you for putting these images into me and everyone else's heads.
Where's the one that's Jeff Probst, Billie Eilish, and Mr. Beast?
Oh, that's a great question.
Sean, bring it up. Put it on Instagram. We would love to see it. Also, I am sorry for the audio only listeners who listened to Laura and I basically be completely silent for about 10 minutes playing that game, like desperately trying to isolate.
Yeah, we both really locked in. I'm sorry.
I love that, though. Listen, you have to be dialed in. There's no complacency to exist in Survivor 50, nor should there be when we are throwing their facial features into some sort of horrific, weird Cthulhu-like creature. It's just the way you have to play these types of things. And we are almost done playing these types of things. Sadly, veritable grab bag of things to get into in this episode. But of course, we know how we end each and every B&B. We will give an opportunity to this time each of our guests to highlight a charity or cause that is important to them that they want the listeners to know a little bit more about. Maggie, let's start with you. What do you want to highlight for the listeners?
I always highlight this every time I'm on Planned Parenthood. Please, they are giving life-saving medical care to women. Please, everywhere where they are being defunded in so many different states, please look up your local Planned Parenthood and donate directly to the ones in your community.
Okay, Laura?
I guess I'd like to talk about that ICE is still in Minnesota, wreaking havoc, and you can go to Stand With Minnesota. It's an Instagram account, and they can connect you directly to different things like legal defense funds and rent relief. And again, if you can look for local rent reliefs and mutual aid in your area, that's even more powerful. I know, to be able to cover rent and utilities and groceries for families who don't feel safe to leave their homes right now. I know it sounds really dire, but it is really dire. So you can make a really big impact in your community that way.
Yeah, thank you both for highlighting, I think, very, very worthy causes. I believe it's past at this point, but I know that a bunch of Survivor players, myself included, also did a bit of fundraising for We Stand With Minnesota. So yeah, feel free to check all of that stuff out. But thank you both so much for coming on, for talking about what you've enjoyed about the season so far. Hopefully enjoying the amount of shit I threw your way over the course of this. This was truly a delight to have both of you back. Talk about what you're doing out there. How should people, Maggie, besides people setting alarms on their TikToks, how should people check out all the great stuff you've got going on?
Yeah,
Who's ever gonna let you forget that?
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now, talking about Survivor over on TikTok on the RHAP official account. Yeah, and you can find me everywhere at my handle at mlmorgan_ on TikTok and Instagram, and then on Blue Sky I'm just mlmorgan, no underscore.
All right, and Laura, when you are not engaging in my shenanigans, you are living an incredibly great online life, giving everyone a lot of fantastic fitness advice or encouragement, motivation to get them through their day. I know it's something that I certainly utilize when I am at my worst. So if you want other people to check out all the great stuff you're doing, how can they do so?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at laura.girard. I'm LC Girard on TikTok, which was a terrible choice on my behalf. Or you can work out with me for free on YouTube. If you search my name, I'll come up. And I run an online strength training studio called the Energy Academy. If that's anything you're interested in, I never shut up about it. So.
And also she has a podcast called Fit Literate that is amazing. You can find it where all podcasts are streaming.
That's true. We are on hiatus right now because wedding planning, but we have a pretty extensive back catalog of things that become more and more relevant every day. So please check that out.
Would you ever incorporate Coach Chi into some of the workouts you're doing?
That's a big question to lob at me at the very end of the podcast. If Coach wants to do a workout together, I would jump at the opportunity. That can be a standing invitation.
Okay.
I don't know, Coach. I'll be there.
I don't know if he'll be standing by the end of it, though. He is 53 and full of holes. Well, thank you both so much. Yeah, exactly. But you can help. You can help, Laura. Well, thank you both, seriously, so much for coming on. This was such a fun time. Liana, we missed you. Check out everything she's got going on with the PAL and otherwise at Liana RHAP. Check out what I've got going on at a Mike Bloom type. Exit interview with Q, Australian Survivor coverage, etc. But Liana will be back with me and another guest next week, recapping whatever week 4 is to provide. Zach Brown will be there with a guitar. I really wonder if part of the reward is he's just going to Bachelor style, like play a song for them, which would be as weird as we think Jeff rapping is. That might be like even further a surreality of what this season has been, but it has been such a great time watching and an even greater time getting to cover. So I hope you've all been enjoying it as well, both the show and the podcast. If you have any games that you want us to play, no matter how odd the idea is, the odder, the better for yours truly. So you can email us, rhapbnb@gmail.com, or use the hashtag rhapbnb on social media. A huge thanks to the entire team behind the scenes at RHAP for packaging this podcast for your eyes and your ears. And apologies to the eyes in this episode from that game that we played. And special thanks to Will from America for his fantastic theme song. Liana will be back alongside me and a guest next week breaking down episode 4 of Survivor 50. Until next time, everybody, we'll check you out at your next stay.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.